Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
In this edition of Global Print, I'm going to talk to you about Monday's coup in Myanmar, what implications it has for India and, of course, for India's big neighbor next door, China, and what the world is saying about it. But before that, dear viewer, I'd like to make an appeal to you. Please do subscribe to The Print and pay just a little bit for The Print's free, fair, objective, and unhyphenated journalism. You know that we've been bringing you the best stories, the best news videos these past several months of the pandemic and even before. So do help us, do support us so that we can continue to do so. And you will find the links for subscribing in the description of this video, both for a domestic audience and an international one. So back to my print column, Global Print, on Monday's coup in Myanmar, in which I argued that India's relationship with Myanmar is very different from that of the Western world. And while the Western world, led by the US, has been very critical of the coup, the new Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, in the Joe Biden administration has warned the Myanmar military junta that it must return to democracy and that pro-democracy activists, leaders like Aung San Suu Kyi and her party leaders must be released from detention. But India has also struck a very cautious note. It has talked about democracy. It has said that it's watching how the situation unfolds. And China, very interestingly, within quotes, has said that it has noted these developments and that it hopes that all sides or both sides will continue to abide by the constitution. Now that is very interesting because the constitution of Myanmar, which is the 2008 constitution, which was actually written very much by the military junta at the time, and which gives a leading role to the military, to Myanmar's military, which is also called the Tatmadaw. And when this constitution was written, it guaranteed 25% of the seats in parliament to the military. It also guaranteed that the representatives of the military would be given key security ministries like defense, home affairs, as well as border affairs. Now, what is interesting is that when the coup took place on Monday morning, so you woke up on February 1st to find that Myanmar was under a state of emergency, that would have been the first day of the new parliament. Now, elections were held in November. Aung San Suu Kyi's party, the National League for Democracy, the NLD, swept the parliament. 5 years ago, also in 2015, it had also had a majority of seats. This time it won even more seats, and perhaps that was what scared the military junta, that even though it had 25% seats in the parliament, it would not be able to influence the direction of democracy. If you've noticed these last several years, even though Aung San Suu Kyi's party has been in power, she has played a very interesting role. Her relationship with the military has been very careful. She has avoided stepping on the military's toes. For example, on the Rohingya issue, when thousands of Rohingya were killed, the Rohingya, of course, being Muslim and Aung San Suu Kyi being Buddhist, and the Myanmaris are a majority Buddhist country. So when the Rohingya were massacred, words like genocide were used by the Western press, Aung San Suu Kyi kept very, very quiet because she knew that she could not antagonize the military beyond a point. So she has very carefully balanced her staying in power these last 5 years, and of course the elections that her party won in November, knowing that the military holds very real power in Myanmar. And that is where India comes in, because for the last 20 odd years, India has had a very interesting relationship with the Myanmaris, and nothing symbolized it as much as the visit in October by Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla and the Indian Army Chief General M.M. Naravane. So you would ask me why, after all, what's the big deal about the fact that the Indian Foreign Secretary and the Army Chief traveled together to an important neighboring country? And let me tell you why. First of all, I think this is the first time that an Indian civilian leader, he may be India's top bureaucrat, and the head of the Indian Army have traveled together on a diplomatic visit. And India's military diplomacy has been quite interesting in this regard. because India understands that the real power in Myanmar is still held by the military. Of course, Aung San Suu Kyi is a very, very powerful player. So guess what? You have Harsh Shringla, the foreign secretary, that's reaching out to the civilian side of the Myanmarese government, and you have the army chief who reaches out and connects with the Myanmarese army chief, the senior general, General Min Aung Hlaing. Now, what is really interesting about the Myanmarese military is that while it's very close to the Chinese, they are a very powerful neighbor. The Chinese are giving a lot of money, a lot of investment is flowing into Myanmar. The Chinese-Myanmar economic corridor is a lifeline to the Myanmarese government. But having said that, the Myanmarese have made it very clear that they haven't sold their soul to China, unlike India's neighbor on the western frontier, Pakistan, which has no problem being a client state of either China or Saudi Arabia or the UAE or perhaps all three. In Myanmar's case, the Myanmarese Janta is very, very close to the Chinese, but the senior general and his army have made it clear that they will abide by the national interest of their country. So when the senior general, General Min, came to power, or when he became army chief in 2011, his first visit abroad was to Vietnam. And we all know, of course, that Vietnam and China are hardly the best of friends. So perhaps he was sending a message. And guess what? In 2017, when India and China were locked eyeball to eyeball in a confrontation on the Doklam Plateau, the senior general, General Min, visited India. His first stop was in Bodh Gaya, and the then Indian Army Chief, General Bipin Rawat, hosted him there. So the Myanmarese Army Chief paid his respects at the Buddhist shrine of Lord Buddha, and after that he travelled all over the country and also met Prime Minister Modi, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, and then Defence Minister Arun Jaitley. So India knows this army chief, the army chief that has organized or orchestrated this coup in Myanmar, which throws Aung San Suu Kyi into jail. India knows this man. And that is what is interesting about India's relationship with Myanmar. It's a quiet relationship. It's a very realistic relationship. So India hasn't gone by what the rest of the world says, which is that you must fly the flag of democracy. Of course, India is the largest democracy in the world, but it also understands that other countries perhaps abide or have different reasons, and the way they run their governments could be different and are different. So Aung San Suu Kyi and the Myanmarese military sharing power in this very interesting hybrid coalition, and India not likely to fly the flag along with other Western countries and copycat them. India is likely to be much more careful about what it does. And you would ask why? China next door. China has been reaching out to the Myanmarese. They have given them lots of money, as I said already, lots of arms. So has India, by the way. In 2015, the Indians started upping their defense contributions to the relationship. Lots of arms have been given, including most recently light torpedoes. So we will watch this coup as it unfolds. We will see what happens. The Myanmarese military has said that the state of emergency will remain for 1 year, and after that, fresh elections will be held. But this is a developing story, and we will watch what India is doing, what India's big neighbor China is doing, and of course what the rest of the world is saying. So do read my column Global Print, and I look forward to all your suggestions and ideas and comments on this video. Thank you for watching.